Hello everyone, my name is Canyang Xie. I'm from the School of Environment. Today we're going to talk a bit about climate negotiation and process, some key issues and challenges. So the very first slide shows the structure of the current global climate governance. And we can see that from the global level to the national level to the subnational level, there are a lot of acting players in this landscape. At the global level, there are UNFCCC and its protocols. At the national level, the developed and developing country parties are those who are in the discussion in the UNFCCC. And also, there are a lot of non-party actors in the global landscape, including the international organizations, NGOs, financial institutions, enterprises, and so on. Although they are playing a very important role, but today we're going to address the part in the dotted line, which is the global multilateral negotiation process. It is a UN multilateral, non-legally binding, and party-driven process. So what exactly are parties discussing under the negotiation framework? I think there are four main pillars. The first one is principle. The common but differentiated responsibilities and respective capability, CBDR-RC principle, is the fundamental principle in the negotiation. Other than that, parties are going to talk about the equity, sustainable development, poverty alleviation, and other principles. The second pillar is the mitigation. Under this pillar, parties are going to talk about some mitigation goals regarding the long-term global temperature rise goal and the climate resilience and adaptation goals, also to align the financial flows with the adaptation and mitigation goals. The third pillar is action. Under this, there are mitigation, adaptation, and compensation for loss and damage. The last but not the least pillar is supporting mechanisms. Under this, parties are going to talk about transparency issue and global stocktake, also the support for the developing countries, including finance, technology transfer, and capacity building. So how do we understand the 30-year climate negotiation outcomes? I think there are some main points. The first one is, which is I think is the most important one, is to create this common vision for a low-emission future under the Paris Agreement and UNFCCC. The second is to successfully mobilize all parties to be in the global climate action, with the governance paradigm shift from a top-down model to a bottom-up model. And the third is the establishment of a series of global cooperation mechanisms, including multilateral climate funds and the international emission trading vehicles. The fourth is the capacity building in some developing countries. The last but not the least is we can observe an spillover effect outside the negotiation, from the mobilization of non-party actors to the encouragement of countries' voluntary commitments in the global climate action. Actually, the developing countries are facing a series of challenges these days in the climate negotiation. As we all know, now the global landscape is very complex, and the developing countries are facing a multiple and compound crises, including the geopolitics, energy, food, climate, and debt. Also, within the framework of climate negotiation, developed countries are dominating the agenda, including but not limited to the weakening of the CBDR-RC principle, the emphasis on coal phase-out instead of oil and gas phase-out, also their evading of their obligation of providing financial, technological, and capacity-building support to developing countries. Also, we can see that within the developing country groups, their positions are beginning to diverge, because the basic countries, including China, India, South Africa, and Brazil, they're facing multiple pressure because they are emerging economies and big emitters nowadays. And for the LDCs and SIDS, their emissions can be almost neglected, right? But they're facing a lot of demand for adaptation and compensation for loss and damage. The challenges are right there, and we need the political momentum to address these challenges for a net zero and sustainable future. Thank you.